here's one for you in property. Now, I happen to have just gone to CrossFit Brooklyn South. So, and I'm in Brooklyn in New York, just heading back to my sister's house. So, when have I totally lost it in property? Just once. Like, I have been deeply frustrated about a gazillion, million, billion times. And after about 20 seconds stroke, half an hour stroke, 4 hours stroke, 10 hours, I've probably regained a sense of humour. This one I absolutely threw my dummy out the pram and completely lost it. And actually it wasn't actually about property. It's a kind of a warning one, this one. I shan't say the lady's name, but I remember her name very, very well. It was years ago. I used to be on the phone a lot to people, talking to them. I was looking, primarily I suppose I was looking for investors. I also, because I don't look for investors anymore, but I still do the mentoring. So I was talking to people whether they wanted to mentor with me. And this particular lady, who's a very sweet lady, was in a kind of a middle to late middle age, and she had a mother that she was the primary carer for, and I forget the exact circumstances, but she also had a son that she was a primary carer for. So she was kind of squeezed. And she had a small portfolio, which was super. They weren't doing particularly well, and she had £35,000 of a pension. And guys, look it up, Harlequin pensions. They went bust, I think, owing 240 million. There's like a court case. I mean, anyway, basically they invested money in overseas property, and you could get your pension straight away, and it just smelt. Do you know what I mean? To me, it just smelt. And she was saying to me, Suze, because I was quite worried that her portfolio that somebody had sourced for her wasn't doing particularly well. And I was like, okay, let's do the boring stuff. Let's look at your portfolio. Let's look at how we can improve that portfolio. Let's get it moving from a loss-making portfolio, because she kind of had no alternatives. She had a caring responsibility above her and a caring responsibility below her. So she just couldn't, do you know what I mean? She had no opportunity to get a job. So let's kind of get boring, and let's just look at these properties, see what works, see what doesn't, and grind it out. But like most of us, she didn't necessarily want to put that in because it's kind of boring, it's unsexy, it isn't headline. And she was like, oh, no. These people, they tell me I'm going to invest 35,000 and I'm going to get 35,000 back every year. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, look, I can't legally advise you. I'm not a financial advisor, but could you please not do that? It's so obviously not going to be something that's effective. It's just unbelievable. And you don't have any, this is your pot, this is your only pot, so please don't do that. And she just wouldn't listen to me. And it's not like I know, but my gut, every inch of my body was like, and I just found it so gutting, so sad, because for someone else, they make a dumb decision that, they can go back to work, they can kind of make the money back, you know what I mean? They've got the time, the resource, the opportunity to make the money back. This lady didn't. She had two family caring responsibilities, and she just could not have the opportunity to remake the work back. And nothing I said would persuade her not to go what you might call the easy route. And I see it again and again and again. It's a combination of, and I don't mean it rudely to this lady, and if she is watching, I've thought about you for years. So I'll be a little bit blunt here. It's a combination of being a little bit lazy, a little bit not interested in putting a huge amount of time into assessing the option, a little bit interested in, I suppose, greed, but also not having a gut instinct to go, hang on, if it seems too good to be true, like you put 35 grand in and you get 35 grand back a year, every year. I mean, that kind of investment opportunity has got to be the most major risk you've ever seen to get 100% return year on year. So, it's not fit for purpose for somebody who's in that situation that cannot go out and kind of get that money back through working again. Do you know what I mean? Nothing I said would help her. So anyway, I came off the phone, having been very polite and given her my best shot, and had failed at trying to persuade her that it was a really silly thing to do. And I had an absolute tantrum. We were still working in my house at the time, and I absolutely lost the plot. And I think it was a combination of her being a bit daft, and her vulnerability, and just obviously seeing where it was going to go. And if you look up Harlequin, it's gone into the court cases now. And I completely lost it. Completely 100% lost the plot, and to the point I was pacing up and down. I was more or less kind of ranting, I think is the polite way of saying it, probably louder than ranting, and I couldn't stop. I physically couldn't stop because of the combination of her vulnerability, her obligations, the fact she was almost definitely going to lose this money, and since I'm sure she has. So in the end my team were like, Suze, could you just please go to bed? You're not being helpful in any shape or form. You're simply walking up and down the office, physically ranting. Could you please just go to bed? And I did. I actually, like a 2-year-old, tucked myself in bed. And what it is, just be mindful, anybody who's looking at these great opportunities, there are great opportunities. Ooh, I keep getting distracted by development projects. Like, here's another one. There are great opportunities in property. Property has made me a multimillionaire. It can definitely make people very, very rich and very, very wealthy. But you are going to have to put some grind in. You are going to have to use your gut feel as to when a property project is giving you what you might call sensible returns, or somebody's promising you craziness. And just be careful, particularly if you're a little bit vulnerable, because I don't ever want to have a massive toddler tantrum again and be told to go to bed and have to put myself in under a duvet because I'm so upset about somebody's vulnerability and financial distress. Right, good luck, see you soon, bye.